Tell us about our position today and then what is our long-term vision when we compare against the best global centers around the world?
To start with, I should say that whenever I speak about the IFSC, I'm quite excited because there's not a single day that passes where we attempt or even come out with something completely new. But the proof, as my chairperson always keeps telling us, is the proof always lies in the eating, right? Proof of the pudding. And ultimately, as far as the pudding here is concerned, the eating is concerned, it always lies in statistics.
Welcome to the podcast, Navigate with HSBC NRI Banking. Today, we will be joined with an absolutely expert. But before that, a little bit about HSBC. HSBC has been in India for over 170 years. Through those 170 years, we've been a part of India's growth. We serve residents, NRIs, corporations, and these people, companies, have been propelling the India story forward. NRIs send back over $130 billion of money back home to India. But Indians are getting more and more global. They send over $30 billion of money around the world. Sometimes these funds accessed through global financial services centers. But what if India had its very own financial services center where you could access global opportunities sitting right here in India? But guess what? We already have that center at Gift City, at the International Financial Services Center, IFSCA. And today we will be delighted to be joined by Mr. Pradeep Ramakrishnan, Executive Director of IFSCA. Welcome and delighted to have you here today, Pradeep. Whenever I think of IFSCA at Gift City, I think of a premier global financial center. Tell us about our position today and then what is our long-term vision when we compare against the best global centers around the world?
Yes, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. To start with, I should say that whenever I speak about the IFSC, I'm quite excited because there's not a single day that passes where we attempt or even come out with something completely new. But the proof, as my chairperson always keeps telling us, is the proof always lies in the eating, right? Proof of the pudding. So, and ultimately, as far as the pudding here is concerned, the eating is concerned, it always lies in statistics, right? So when it comes to banks, we have almost 35 banks here, and there are more foreign banks than Indian banks, and the business is actually shot up almost close to 100 million dollars. And very interestingly, we are the only jurisdiction in the world which mandates lending by these banks towards sustainable finance. So 5% of lending is actually towards sustainable finance. The fund ecosystem has rocketed almost 270 odd funds with almost 180 fund managers have come, and fund management thing is probably the vertical with the most amount of innovations and changes which keep coming. So that is one thing which started. And we have the capital market ecosystem. We have had a super bond ecosystem with almost 80 billion worth of bonds being raised by almost 150, 160 issuers. And interestingly, we have been quite a successful sustainable finance ecosystem also because we want to be a climate finance hub, and almost $16 billion worth of funds only for ESG has been raised out of this place, and it includes social, sustainability linked bonds also. And our bullion ecosystem is also almost 100 tons of gold have been imported through this ecosystem through the IIBX, the Indian International Bullion Exchange that was set up by the Prime Minister in July 22. And interestingly, we are regulated with multiple verticals. So we also have a reinsurance vertical, so an insurance vertical where reinsurance business is actually taken off, and we also have a vertical like pensions, which is about to take off because some changes are expected in the the budget and the tax related portions. Very interestingly, for example, if you take something as niche as airplane leasing, if you look at India is probably one country where aviation sector is actually been growing, right? And we are envy of the world as far as that is concerned. But when it comes to Air India and Indigo, they are actually leasing planes out of Dublin or other international jurisdictions. So we have tried to bring them here, right, to our jurisdiction. So that is also being successful. Ship leasing is another vertical. We have very niche sectors like foreign universities. You'll be surprised to know that there are 4 foreign universities which have already set up, and they are also offering courses internationally which are available here at almost half the price, and it's open for Indians and international students to actually take off to study and probably get benefited. And we also have a very good GCC ecosystem. The who's who of Bangalore actually is in GIFT City. They have set up their offices also there, with almost each of them having 400 to 600 persons each. So if you look at it as an ecosystem, because if you look at any international finance center, whenever we speak about international finance centers, we talk about a Singapore or a London, and the reason why we speak about them is the fact that they are all self-sufficient. Everything is available there. So, for example, if you take the capital market ecosystem, we began by bringing in issuers, we began arrangers, merchant bankers, credit rating agencies, then you have depository participants, then you have registrars. So once you create this ecosystem, the ecosystem starts to bloom. So that way, if you look at it, the IFSC is probably one of the exciting places to work today, because of the fact that it has been able to add so much value. And also the fact that if you just go back to the why the IFSC was set up, there were three primary goals. One is onshoring the offshore, bring this business back. Second is be a hub for capital and global finance. The third one, be a hub for innovation. So we have tried to keep all these three goals in mind while we have tried to expand.
No, this is wonderful. And so, as you know, HSBC has been in India for 170 years,
Yes.
right? And in GIFT only for 4 years, right? Among the first few banks to have fully set
Yes.
up. But amazingly, our GIFT ecosystem is already very large. We are present as a bank financing companies. You spoke about some aircraft leasing deals. We are opening multi-currency bank accounts for individuals. We're offering a range of fund advice. So and clearly so much to go. Our affiliate joint venture, Canada HSBC, just started an insurance business, offering insurance in dollars to individual clients. So a lot.
We also have an investment banking license.
And we have an investment banking license, among the first investment banking license for any bank, right? So from the first ATM bringing to India and now kind of working with you at GIFT City, I think we've been privileged to be a part of this journey. I think tell us about some product innovations. You already did refer to some of them, but any others you want to speak about, or regulatory enablers that you're prioritizing from a global HNI family office or institutional investors into GIFT City, right? Because also individuals are increasingly interested in accessing that, and how are you thinking about it?
See, for any regulator, like very recently, our chairperson has been repeatedly speaking at various seminars and public conferences, has been insisting upon these 2-3 things. One is, and particularly today's day and age, the way business is being done, you will not be able to attract business unless you actually have proper ease of doing business. And ease of doing business should not be on paper, it should be in spirit. So that is one thing which we ensure that we keep in mind. So that becomes easy for us. So when you look at, for example, when you take the fund management industry alone, because we are talking about wealth and HNIs. So we found that, of course, we have permissions for AIFs, we have permissions for mutual funds to set up and, of course, invest into India, invest out, inbound, outbound, all those things. Anyway, it is there in the regulations. But when someone comes to me and asks, okay, what is something innovative that you have done? So we have done something very interesting very recently. One was something what we call as the platform play, right? Where we allowed a fund to manage third-party funds. Okay, so there will be a separate vehicle only for this, and it can be set up and it can be managed. And for that, the burden is very less. You don't need to have a CO. You do not have meet other criteria like net worth, setting up, and all that. So that is one thing which we have tried to bring very recently. The other one is co-investment. So through SPVs, through special purpose vehicles, we can actually do co-investment. That was also something innovative that we have brought. So these are two things which readily come to my mind when it comes to the fund management and wealth. But 2-3 things which a regulator has to keep in mind is, one is you have to cut red tape. You have to ensure that it is easy. So towards that, we have something called the SWIT portal, the single window IT system. So when it comes to any intermediary or any fund which wants to take a license, we have sort of leverage technology whereby you can just submit an application and even your no objection certificates from other regulators get uploaded there. So it actually cuts time. So even there were international regulators who came and visited GIFT, and particularly to the IFSCA, and they were actually astonished with the time that we took to actually clear a fund, right? For example, we have first of all created something called a green channel, where in case of AIFs, in case of retail, non-retail funds, So you just file the PPM and go ahead. You don't wait for any approval from us. You just go ahead. So the approval or the observations which you talk about, they come only up for retail funds, which we sort of have done. So we are trying to innovate and we are trying to leverage. We're cutting down procedural delays wherever there are possible, because we keep learning. For example, if you take the new fund management regulations 2025, they are vastly different from what was the fund management regulations 2022. And I was completely astonished. I thought the work was over after we brought in the new fund management regulations 2025. Interestingly, within just 2-3 weeks, people started coming to us saying that, okay, this could have been done, that could have been done. So you will be very interested to know that we are trying to come out with one more consultation paper. We are trying to sort of consult the industry once again on what more that you want to do. And particularly in today's day and age, the amount of dynamism which is there in the industry internationally, it requires the regulator to be constantly evolving to suit those needs. So we are trying our best to do it. We also have a concept of a regulatory and innovation sandbox, where if there are any innovative ideas that can be first tested in the innovation sandbox and then passed on to the regulatory sandbox, and then we try to come out with thing. One thing which I think probably I will add in the end is tokenization. Now, tokenization, we have brought out a consultation paper. A lot of people are interested in that in that concept. So and regulators are still wrapping their heads around it on how to do it. Singapore and Hong Kong have tried to come out with some rules and regulations, but at the IFSCA meetings they were still skeptical on how further they want to go about it. So we will also be coming out with some rules and regulations, particularly for financial products, maybe to start with. So these are all some innovations which are happening as we speak. And the last one is, yesterday we have released the framework for the new global access. Now, Indians can invest abroad through the IFSC. They can invest through their LRS money, through the brokers who are here in various stock exchanges, the products which are available in various stock exchanges, financial products. And if they invest through the stock exchange subsidiaries, they can even invest in international mutual funds, which is available. So these are things, innovative things, which are happening as we speak.
Amazing. Sir, I was myself an NRI for 18 years. And before that, I was a resident Indian. And then I was a resident, but not ordinary resident. And then I'm back to being resident, ordinary resident again. And, the bank accounts you change, the status you change. Yeah. You move to different countries, you open investment accounts and close accounts. And I think GIFT really has the potential to be at one place where whether you are an Indian, resident Indian, non-resident Indian, person of Indian origin, I think the 33 million diaspora and plus the Indians who have international interests, that could be one single account and one single investment account and potentially one single insurance, where you keep moving, but that's your rock which keeps you.
We are also doing, by the way, something for NRIs and Indians, particularly on the KYC thing, which you rightly said. It just struck me, so I thought probably I'll also add.
Yes.
We are trying to bring something on the video KYC, consultation papers are on them. So with that comes, then it actually open up. And for Indians, we are bringing a concept called the KRA, KYC Registration Agency. So your KYC need not be done repeatedly every time whenever you want to join an intermediary. So these are 2-3 other reforms in the pipeline which should
that'll be absolutely
also
wonderful,
delight,
right? And with video KYC, we can be anywhere around the world and then be able to deal with GIFT City. What are your views about making tax simple? And I know that journey, GIFT has already traveled quite a lot of the journey, and IFSC has traveled a lot of the journny. So would love your reflections on that.
So one very important thing about the GIFT is the fact that you have a 10-year tax holiday, right? Which so out of 10 out of 15 years, there is no tax. So that is something which a lot of people know about by now. And we are also trying to create tax parity.